Hello, my name is Tom Borg, and I'm here today with Mr. Jim Danielski, a career planning specialist in beautiful downtown Plymouth. Jim, tell us, what do you do?
I help people to figure out what their end game is. In other words, when you ask people what's arriving in your life, 99% of people can't answer that. So we're brought up in Western culture to strive, but never to arrive. And so to understand what is it, what is it in your life where you say, okay, I finally made it. So I help people to identify what it is, to validate the destination and develop a strategy to get there. Now, in some cases, high school student completely lost, doesn't know. In other cases, somebody who knows, but can't figure out how to make it happen. In some cases, it's a matter of strategy. In other cases, it's somebody who's done something for a lifetime and wants to do something else and doesn't know what it is. So everything in between, whether it's interviewing, assessment, the real thing is to surgically identify the issues and then get the person going.
So you're helping the person identify where it is they can go with their career, with their life, and then giving them the tools to put this plan in action?
Absolutely, absolutely, because, excuse me, like I said, most people have no idea where it is. Somebody once wrote a book called If You Don't Know Where You're Going, You're Going to End Up Somewhere Else. And then somebody else said most people lead lives of quiet desperation. So the bottom line is to help people to understand, where do you want to go? Most people are underachievers too. That's the other thing. Most people are aiming too low in life. They are. And so part of it is to get people to stretch themselves. We live in a very vicarious society, and I help the people that want to stop standing on the curb and get in the parade.
Okay, sure.
Those are the folks that I work with, and
good analogy.
So I really help people with the journey to the winner's circle. That's the real key. It's one thing to see somebody standing in the winner's circle, but it's another thing to take the journey. So for those people who've read all the motivational books, bought all the tapes, just can't seem to make it happen, me.
Okay.
And then of course, in today's society, change is accelerating. I like to tell people that our economy is like looking into a running blender. And so change is occurring. So change takes away, but it also gives. And many people have to reinvent themselves. So you have people, perhaps your neighbors, that could be in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They need to reinvent themselves. That's a choice they're going to make.
Jim, do you find that people are, when they're facing that question that you just mentioned there, the fact is, can they reinvent themselves? Do they know even where to begin to reinvent themselves?
Well, in spite of everything that's out there, all of the things that are on the internet and all the self-help stuff, most people are overwhelmed. And so part of what I do is help people to identify what it is that they really want to do, to see if it's feasible or not, and then to go from there.
What kinds of age groups are you seeing that are coming to you and saying, hey, I really don't know what I'm going to do next with my life, my career? What's the gamut?
Well, I've been doing this for almost 40 years.
So you must be pretty darn good at it.
Must be pretty darn old, too. But yeah, as a matter of fact, I get a lot of letters and cards at Christmas time. That's one of the things that keeps me in the game, so to speak.
And some of your past clients that are sending you thank yous?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me how they're doing. The three words that I love the most are, I got it. People that, in spite of a down economy, my clients have been getting jobs. And so in spite of the victim report that you see on TV, that's one of the things that if you want to be a professional victim, you wouldn't be a good client of mine. So although, to address your question, my clients could range from middle school to my oldest client being 72.
Wow.
Yeah. Right now, the two main groups of clients that I'm seeing, which is really interesting, are high school students
High school
who
students.
are, yes, they understand that if you don't know what you're gonna do before you graduate from high school, you're not gonna know afterward either.
Sure.
And so part of this is to get people thinking about what you wanna be, do, and have.
Mhm.
The second group are the 20-somethings who are employed, many are working 2 jobs, they're overwhelmed with debt. They've got so much debt from their
Wow.
college days. They're
Mhm.
very unhappy, very disillusioned, many living back home with their parents and not feeling good about it, and understanding that you need a plan.
Mhm.
You gotta have a plan, and it has to be a cumulative plan.
Sure.
So most people are not living life cumulatively, and so one of the keys that I like people to do is learn to live life cumulatively.
How do you mean?
In other words, what you do today should form, like, it's almost like a row of bricks. It should form a basis for what you're gonna do tomorrow. Someday, it's like a football game. That's one of the metaphors that I use with my clients, is that each day we look at moving the ball a little further down the field. Some days we lose yardage.
Right.
Other days we score a touchdown, but the key is to keep that ball moving forward.
Makes
That's
sense.
cumulative living.
Makes
For
sense.
many people, they're just reacting. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is, whether it's
Mhm.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're gonna keep doing the same thing. So, you say, how are you? And they go, same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yes. And going back to that first group you mentioned, the high school group, certainly in the case where they're planning on going to college, if that's the case, that can be a pretty considerable investment. And if they land into a major, or they start changing their majors 3 or 4 or 5 times, that can get pretty expensive, can it?
Very expensive, and it's kind of interesting because I like to tell people when I talk to adult groups, I like to tell them, I'm the guy you wished you would have talked to when you were in high school.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. And, I hear that from adults all the time. Oh my gosh, I wish that I'd have known you when I was in high school.
Mhm.
And I'm that guy. I'm the guy to help you do that, because not everybody needs to go to college. That's the other thing, I think it's so important to keep in mind that today we look at, many people, we look at folks, and I'm not gonna go and name all the names of the folks who haven't been to college but are billionaires,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not gonna give them a plug unless they're paying me. But the bottom line is, you have to ask yourself, wait a minute, what's